On the boundary hit in Shire Armagh, police is not love everywhere else in the UK. While I followed Sergeant Sam Hoye on a driving about his region, we were in a escort of 4 persons armoured cars. We're not fair concerned on the risk for dissenter Republicans, the skilled official explains. We're as well concerned on creature rammed by some vehicles, and creature run above or locked in places. On the tight, solitary track roads, wherever it is hard for non-locals to aware wherever the boundary in fact is, it is lightweight to see how police force would be sensitive to nobody who would wish to pitfall them. As behavior in criminality that can occur everywhere, such as housebreaking, national abuse and sip driving, the present of the boundary tool down there is a particular risk of organized criminality gangs, who are implicated in contraband on each party of the boundary. To Sergeant Hoye's wireless crackles in a urge sign, and a fellow informs him of an occurrence in Fleury Bridge, really shut to the UK's just earth border. Couple boys done off in a van through the boundary. Windshield crushed. They've got 2 boys arrested in drugs. Sergeant Hoye points out how is a main sample of company operation among the police force facility of Northern Ireland and its peer pressure in the Irish Republic, and Garda Síochána. PSNI commanders and the Garda are in concern on a crucifix border wireless, an alarm every some while a car they are chasing crosses of one nation in else. This cause why we can't crucifix the boundary is since we're transport gun, Sergeant Hoye tells me. So if we cross in the southward, we'd be exposed for detention. Police force commanders on both of sides include number code names for every boundary cross spot, or BCPs, as they urge them. So we'll get a urge proverb down there's a car upcoming through at BCP 32, for sample, says Sergeant Hoye. Down there are 55-way BCPs in his Area 1, and on 270 in full. Sergeant Hoye united the police force as a portion-time reserve in 1989, and excited in the routine strength a few years after. He has consumable largest of his carrier work close the boundary, and frequently reflects on the wonderful changing that has undertaken location. He points out a Mount Fair external newry wherever down there utilized to be a war watch tower. He and associate would include been delivered to and of it by chopper, or walk to it if down there was bad weather. At the start of his period in the police force, he did not patrolling by car at all. This risk was fair so top of earth mining, he says. Couple police force commanders would be walk on in 10 or 12 soldiers. Above the year of the world trial, the police force include consumable year house up relationships in communities that had been historic enemy. In southward Armagh, down there are yet several villages wherever they don't get lot telephone call, on to Sergeant Hoye, but he can see how slowly change. Also, the quantity of signs on bulb posts in messages love no ruck there are shrinking. But signs reflecting opinions on Brexit are overall sights on our travel. The messages involve no difficult boundary there, and stay versus Brexit. The PSNI head constabulary, George Hamilton, and his crew of elder commanders are considering which the UK's leaving of the EU might indicate for them. Mr. Hamilton said we fair aware which it is love police the variability of Northern Ireland, and these issues of sameness and ambiguity frequently conduct to an growth in stress. He is utilizing 102 additional commanders among now and the end of the finance year, that is shut to the day while the UK is outgoing the EU. But down there's potential to be a bid to the by the government to foundation more than, although precisely how lot depends on the form of Brexit. Time he warns how, though a Brexit transactions would not solve all the issues for police force, since this regulation of how transactions may not encounter in treaty of everyone, he as well suggests how same weight to requirement more than police asset to transactions in the ensuing consequences if down there was not a transactions. Behind on the boundary hit, Sergeant Hoye hopes which he describes as the large advance of the recent few year continues. I'm not a political figure, I'm a police force official, he says. Yet little decisions how are done for us can include large implications for me work on the boundary.